Before we get going, I just wanted to give a little shameless plug to Castley Skis for their very kind sponsorship of me for the season. If you're considering a new pair of skis for this season, please check out their website, kessley.com. Welcome to episode 25 of the Ski Instructor Podcast. My name is Dave Burrows. I'm the director and owner of Snowsport Ski School based here in Verbier in Switzerland. Hope you're all well in these strange and interesting times. I have personally spent the summer kind of trying to plan what the winter is going to look like and what my team's going to look like, and also updating a few things that I've been meaning to do. So I'm very much set for the ski season. It's just whether the ski season is very much set for us. And personally, in terms of my planning for this ski season, I'm pretty much carrying on the basis that it's going to be business as usual with a few restrictions. So we might be looking at, say, I don't know, masks in certain lifts, or a sort of reduced number of tourists and stuff coming to ski with us. More locals, I think, coming to ski in their local area. Now, with this in mind, this episode I travelled over to Verbier to speak to Julian Griffiths from European Snowsport. He has the heady honour of being the first person to get a second interview on the podcast, but we sat down to do something of a sort of a COVID special, with sort of various sort of summary of where we are to date and what we think the ski season might look like going forward. So that's going to be the first half of the podcast today, and then we touch later on some changes within BASI and some other stuff. So enjoy this first half, and I will catch you at the midpoint break. Welcome to the Ski Instructor Podcast for the second time. Julian Griffiths,
great,
European Snowsport, Verbier. How are you?
I'm good. I'm honoured to be the first person to get a second episode. I mean, I've listened to, I think, almost all of the others, and it's been really nice to hear colleagues, people I've known for 20 years, talk about their early skiing life and how they got into it and their formative experiences. Because sometimes it's people who like run rival ski schools, or you know them in quite a tight like BASI trainer space or a ski school space, or they work for you or you work for them or whatever it is, and you suddenly get a broader picture of their life. So your podcasts have been great, actually, really. Interesting.
I ride motorbikes in the summer with Phil Brown of Impulse, National Schools Snowsport Association, and we talk a lot about this. Is sort of to try and get away from this concept of So nominally, I do a little bit of work in Verbier, but not much. I wouldn't consider us to be rivals, but I don't really care about that, because I'm here to kind of, my overall thing is to grow the skiing pie, rather than think of us as fighting over a small piece of pie.
Yeah.
Your organisation is massive compared to mine, so I'm not gonna go sort of necessarily. I don't see myself as a competitor, but I don't even think about it in that concept. We're all trying together as one big thing to bring people into this sport that we all love and teach them how to ski.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter how many of us that are doing it, right?
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Let's start with some bad news or some sad news.
Yeah, we've got to start with that. My good friend Danny McCabe, Lieutenant Commander Danny McCabe, who has passed away, and was so sad, and he was just such a wonderful guy. I don't think there's anyone I can think of who's come into ski instruction, done so much, done so well, has helped so many people, and he just made friends with really good people on different sides of different resorts and different, everywhere. And the guy was fantastic. I mean, he came from the Royal Navy. He was, I think, one of his last jobs, he was the weapons officer on HMS Glasgow, or a type, it's a destroyer. And he was the weapons officer, like the proper fighting, You've probably, if you've left an airport in the south of England at some point in the last 30 years, your plane has probably been identified, categorised by a missile system run by Danny. But what he did is he came, and when I was his level 1 course, there are a few courses that I ran in the 10 years that I was a trainer, which stood out because almost everybody on the course went on to stay in skiing.
Ah, that's unusual.
Yeah, and he was on
level 1.
Yeah, he was on one of those courses, and there was just something about, like, I'd love to say it was me, but it was probably more him. Like, it was all blokes on the course, and he just had a way of, like, creating a little bit of banter in the group as a candidate, which made everyone feel comfortable. And you come from the Navy and you've been on a ship with a lot of people, and you've just got to be able to make everyone get on, feel valued, not have one of those groups that gets too competitive. And if someone's a bit of a loon, you can give them a funny nickname that they don't mind, that makes a happy thing out of their quirk. And then just a team, I took them up, instead of doing in the lecture rooms, I took them up into when we went for a walk up into the mountain, and I found a little boulder. I sat there with my group, and the banter in the group was great. And I think it was probably down to him and everyone in that group. Simon McComb was in that group, and Cullen, who went on to build a great business and sell it. Danny, Dominic, Cottrell, who, he's not in the industry, but there are a few people. The Kiwi guy, we just called him Kiwi. I still call him Kiwi. And that's from that. And he started there, and he was early 40s. Mid 40s, pretty good skier. But he did Ironman, he did telemark racing, he did all sorts of stuff. Highly respected, and he came in, flashed through the system, got his level 4, and when you saw the way he went at the Euro test, as probably one of the oldest people to pass it. He had this sort of campaign plan. He identified the best people to train with, who became great friends. He went off training with them. He got he's already super fit. He got super fit. He had a little van which he fitted out with all this sort of wooden interior with the space for everything, and it was like, the approach that he took was fantastic. And because it's down, in the Navy, I think he joined at 16, as a ranker. They sent him to university, made him an officer, got to lieutenant commander. Brilliant. And then worked at the Ministry of Defence. Yeah. And a lovely guy, he'd remember your kids' names, and do you know what I mean? Remember stuff you told him before. Just fantastic, and always mentioning his lovely wife, Adrienne.
Brilliant. Seeing too many people.
Sorely missed.
Yeah, seeing too much of this. I was just saying to you earlier that I know so many people now that are being touched by this, or who have died from this kind of thing, and I don't know whether it's just a consequence of the age that these things start to happen to people at the age that you become, or whether it's like a modern phenomenon. I'm not really sure.
I don't. I think that he had a short illness, and it's probably all.
It makes me want to do something more about it, and I'm planning actually for my friend Ian, who used to ride motorbikes with. His one of his last things that he asked me to do was to take his motorbike helmet and wear it and ride this route that he wanted to ride down. It's called the Napoleon Way from Gap down to Cannes.
I cycled that.
Oh. Yeah. Well, we're going to ride it and probably do it.
That was like that was like my peak cycling.
So he wanted us to do this, and I'm going to get a group of guys together. We're going to do that next year, and I'm trying to work out a way that we can do it for charity, just to kind of raise some money for the thing that took him from us, which is. It's awful.
It is awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, just in like, you know, I mean, little anecdote. This is very good. I mean, when I first set up a secondary resort, and you were asking me about this last time, I really, you know, we'd been successful in Verbier, and we thought, right, off, go do Zermatt. And I got this Swiss guy, ski school director, and I gave him, his job was to find like 6 Swiss instructors. He said all these local guys would follow him, and I said, great, well, I'll give you 6 young, keen Brits. That's kind of what happened in Verbier. We had half locally requested, half young, keen Brits to, you know, to get into that sort of British referral community. But in November he turned up. He said, "Oh, I haven't got any locals to join me." So I was like, "Okay, I'll have another 6. Have another 6 young Brits." So I had this older Swiss instructor with 12 young British instructors, and I gave him a British guy who was like technical director and a couple of people in supporting leadership roles. You know, as I say now, I mean, and it was just a disaster. I mean, guys, look, I mean, we did any business and total shit stuff. I probably have to edit that, I don't know.
It's all right.
And I got to the end of the season, and it was 2/3 of the way through the season, and I was just like, I was despairing. I didn't know about chains of command, and I said to Danny, I said, look, you know all about leadership and stuff, can you go over there? And they're all falling out and at each other's throats and trying to get my ear, and I was like, can you go over there and like talk to them, interview them all? And I sent him out. He went over and he sat down with this Swiss guy. And before, the guy was like to me, he was like, "Who's this guy? Who's he sending in?" Because this Swiss guy, he's a cool guy. He was like male modelling on GQ in the 80s. He's done Iron Man. He's like a sort of Swiss, like, I don't know. He's cool anyway. And he was like, who is this guy? Has he done Iron Man? I was like, is he a fully certified Swiss instructor? And I was like, he's not yet, but he will be. Yeah, but where's he from? I was like, he's from England. Oh, England. And I was like, well, yeah. And has he done Iron Man? And I was like, he has done Iron Man. And he was like, oh. So I sent Danny over to interview him, and he sat. And then he interviewed his sort of lieutenants. And then he interviewed a couple of the instructors, and I gave him all the problems we've been having. And he came back to me and he said, look, Julian. I was expecting to get a cult, you know. I was expecting to identify some bad egg who I could toast, you know. And he just said, Julian, this is all your fault. You've let the lieutenants get your ear. You've listened to the staff. You've undermined. You've done this. You've done that. And you gave me this great list of failings that I'd done. You know, and I was just like, oh, okay, Danny, right, thanks. And from that, applying what he told me, it took another 15 years, but Zermatt has become really good, and I've changed my approach. And you know, since that moment, really, since he helped me, I'm a director in Zermatt. And I go and see that person, listen to them, go for a ski with the guys, but I don't, don't listen to like them, their little whinging and or whatever.
No, there has to be
the person in charge has to be the person. He taught me all that, and brilliant. You know, he came to work here for a while, and you know, he came up with loads of ideas how we could improve things, and I mean, just brilliant. I mean, you know, good. Told it as it is. Great guy. And we'll sorely miss him, and I think probably speak for everybody who met him, who probably quite a few were listening to this, and we all will miss Danny. So yeah, I'll probably mention it again later. But,
okay. Yeah. So thank you for welcoming me to your pied-à-terre in Verbier. It's very nice. You've welcomed me with some almond croissants, tea.
Ham croissant there.
Local jam.
Local valleys and jam.
Local valleys and jam. Lovely. Yeah. So if you hear any munching, that's what we're doing. My principal idea of what I wanted to talk to you about, because I think it's going to be really well timed, this, is you run, it's fair to say, a pretty massive operation across the Alps. We talked, when we last saw each other in Saas-Fee, you were talking about rolling out Val d'Isère and, did you say Moritz? No. One other?
Yeah, Samoritz is already there. Val d'Isère we did last year. The first time with
Zermatt, Verbier, various other places.
Yeah.
So we should probably talk. I think I wanted to talk to you specifically, but I thought we'll record it for posterity. Is where we are in terms of this whole COVID thing, and then what it's going to look like, in your opinion, and maybe mine if anyone's interested in it, as to what skiing's going to look like this winter. And we'll just chuck some thoughts around and people can take what they want out of it. That's my idea for this episode, amongst some other stuff we're going to talk about.
Well, I drove down to Milan last week to see Vittorio, who's the new president of the ISIA. And as I pulled up to the traffic lights, there was this guy who came up and like washed my windscreen. And I wound down the window. I was like, "Stop! Don't, please!" And I was like, oh, then you can feel guilty, so you give me €1, and you're just like furious with yourself. Yeah. So what I'm going to be, if we're lucky, in a year's time, I'm going to start a business called Posh Wash. Okay. We'll be in like the end of Sloane Square or at the end of the Putney Bridge or something. We won't. He was quite scruffy, so we're going to have like little jackets on, and our water will be made of it. The washing water will be made of Evian. It'll be that sort of.
I thought you were going to say, hopefully at this time of the next year, we're going to have €1 to be able to give to that guy.
We're all fucked.
It seems like it.
No, I mean, I don't think we are.
What did the end of? Let's go history to present to future.
Yep.
So what did the end of last year? So you were the same as us. Everyone in Valais abruptly shut 15th March.
Yeah.
D-Day, or 12th March, whenever it was, and it's funny. My assistant yesterday. I'll tell this to you, listener. My assistant yesterday said, "Oh yeah, don't forget about this spreadsheet."
You have an assistant?
Don't you?
Sounds good.
She's brilliant.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. It's called Alicia. I've told her yesterday she's never allowed to leave because I don't know what I'd do with that.
I think she just applied for something.
Hope not. She said, "Yeah, don't forget about this spreadsheet, which is all the credit notes that you gave for last year for the people with skiing that wasn't done."
Yeah.
And I had slipped my mind.
Oh yeah, you have to pay for their instructors.
Pay for their instructors. Turns out it's quite a big number.
Yeah,
and we then had a quick skirt around the internet amongst some of your rival ski schools around here. People have really tightened up their cancellation policies for this year.
Well, they've gone the wrong way.
I think they've gone the wrong way, and in terms of how harsh they're being, how corporate they're being.
Who's going to book for them?
Well, this is my thing, and so we're going to. Well, ours is already extremely understanding, in terms of a cancellation policy, but. Anyway, so all of that is there. So that's where we were last year. Presumably that affected you across the whole Alps. How was that when it happened for you?
Well, it was pretty tough. I mean, we at the end of half term, everything was fine, and then from that weekend, I went to Zermatt and had a bit of a crash. And the week after, I thought I'd broken some ribs. I couldn't breathe, and I was like, "What is this? This is really bad." Went to the doctor, and he was like, "No, you haven't broken any ribs." And then people were starting to get COVID around town, and then I got really sick. And then on the 13th of March, the lifts closed, and it was bizarre. We just went from the resort started to get quieter after half term, quieter than normal, as people stopped coming skiing. But almost everybody in Verbier, most people have had it, now have immunity. So it's a pretty safe place to come. And I know that people are saying, "Oh no, the immunity doesn't last" and stuff. But when it I think it does, and we're going to test everybody for antibodies and everything. We'll talk about that later. But when it closed down, it was totally bizarre because normally we have end of season parties, we have weekly training, we have lots of social stuff, and we just went from running a ski school, heading towards Easter, getting ready for that, to locked in the house with the wife and kids, and we couldn't even have an end. One ski school did in Zermatt, which we thought was a little imprudent, but we couldn't even have an end of season party or a Zoom call, but it was really bizarre, and everyone, strange, very strange. I noticed a lot of people in the resort were like, "Oh, the skiing, we can't go skiing, or we can't do this, and we can't do that," and it seemed to take a while before people realised that this is like a global economy killing pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was totally, and we just had to stop. And then because we have a 24-hour cancellation policy.
We do too.
Yeah, so it is, I think, the most generous.
Yeah.
Because those other companies, their instructors don't get paid if you cancel a week in advance. So they just pocket the money. So we have a generous policy, which hopefully means people will come and they can get out easily if their plans change. And we're not screwing anyone over and creating any bad feelings. So
I don't think that you can do that to people. Sorry, listener, I've got my mouth full of ham croissant. But I don't think that you can do that to people in terms of, especially in this current climate, because it's on people's mind. What happens if it changes? I think you've got to try and, also with a view to that client coming back to you in the future.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just say that, I'm sorry, dude, we just took your money, tough on you. Here's a letter for your insurance company, who won't pay out now anyway, because they've all inserted a COVID clause in their insurance policies. You can check your insurance policy, listener, and you can be sure that will be in there. I don't think that you can do that. I think in most instances in business, you have to try and do the right thing by your client. Otherwise, you make a sort of terrible reputation for yourself.
Yeah.
But
I think you're right. You're absolutely right. So we had to, just like you probably, we had to refund people who had booked. Some people said, look, we understand this is really hard for you. We're happy to accept a credit.
Yeah.
We didn't push people to do that.
No.
And some people did that, which was great, because that just left a little bit more money. And the Swiss government handled it so well.
Yeah.
They had a daily briefing where the government tells people what it is.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't then a huge mass politicised media with a supporting cast of experts trying to undermine them.
Yeah.
The Swiss people go, okay, what do? We do that, and then it's done. And they kept the infection rates down, they kept the death rates down.
They have.
I'd like to. I should mention our old lawyer, Mr. Fluckiger, died of it.
Right.
Early on.
Of it or with it?
From it. So that was very sad. But yeah, a lot of for example, I went for my test, antibody test and virus test. On the same day, the UK sent the test that I did to Portman Down for testing, and then a week or two later, they decided, now we'll let the doctors. So over centralised, so over controlled. I sat there with my doctor, and he said, people say Verbier had a lot of cases, but it didn't. It's just that I ordered the test kits before anyone in Zermatt. Therefore, we had people we had the numbers before anyone else. And I was like, where did you order from? I just ring up and buy them. Each doctor can ring whoever he wants and buy whatever he wants, do whatever testing he wants. Yeah. And I spoke to my sister who runs doctor's surgery in England, and she was like, oh no, well, we have to go through this. There's a central body with a chief, with a chief executive and a cast of experts who stop everything and centralise everything, and you've just got to trust the doctors to treat the people and let them buy whatever they want. It's we don't want to get into a debate about healthcare, but the Swiss handled it very well, and as a result, I think if there are any skiers listening, you should come skiing in Switzerland.
Yeah, I think
it's a good choice.
I think probably the people that are used to coming to skiing in Switzerland will continue to come to Switzerland. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And Switzerland reputationally is what it is. It's got a good reputation, but also the populace here is extremely good, and I've not seen this before, but they're extremely good at all kind of working together in a consensus towards a common goal.
Yeah.
And I've been saying to anyone that will listen, it's a different mindset for what we would call maybe the Anglo people. So Brits, maybe what you're seeing going on in the US, people are much more kind of individually minded. This is my sort of reading of the situation, and that's why you have was one of the reasons that you have the situation that you have going on at the moment in the UK. Is people just they're pretty bloody minded, right? I'm one of them, you're one of them. We know what we are. But it was curious to live through that time here in Switzerland, to see how everyone was just kind of, okay, well this is what we're being told to do by our government. But you have to remember that here in Switzerland, that comprises, the executive council comprises 7 people. It's not 652 people all trying to, posture and preen, right? Yeah. It's 7 people who are representing certain areas, but actually all of the authority is devolved to a cantonal and county level, Valaisan level.
Well, Jeremy Paxman in his book, The English, talks about how countries with land borders like France have to respond, who have repeatedly invaded over history and face many, many threats. They have to have a very centralised system that can react very quickly. And, sort of little phrases like paternity, whatever they have, legality, these sort of like little cliches are almost part of their centralised system because they have to respond quickly. And where you're an island, and you face fewer external threats, and the power of the government is necessarily less, and people are more free. And he credits the geography of the UK as being the reason for Magna Carta, and then descending from that is power is less centralised. People feel more free, so you don't necessarily feel you have to do what the government says. But on the continent, Switzerland, it is good because people do what they're told and they do follow it and they're disciplined.
It's funny actually. It's funny being
it's
funny,
like the UK they could just like do as you're told for a while and solve this thing.
Well, I'm very much a stop telling me what to do kind of person. As you might have guessed, listener. And so it's very interesting for me to live here in Switzerland. To kind of, there's a lot of little rules here that I kind of rail against sometimes, but I understand why they're there. And the necessary, so I kind of allow myself to be slightly boxed in by those, whilst at the same time raging against them, Exactly. But I think if I lived in the Swiss-German part, I think I would be really, I'd be feeling really, really hemmed in. That's for sure, because they're much more strict there. They regard the guys in the French-speaking bit as like heathens.
It's like a little Mexico, isn't it? Build a wall, keep the rowers out.
I had a ski with a guy called Dominic in the winter, and he's from the Swiss German bit. He's a really Swiss German guy, and but hugely funny with it. I love the Swiss German. I think they're really, really cool. But he lives in the French bit, and when he goes home back to his village or whatever, all of his family say, "How is it over there?"
Yeah.
Over there, it's the same bloody country.
Yeah.
But how is it over there in this sort of wasteland of French speaking?
It is embarrassing. I mean, they have things like fewer people turn up for national service, and alcoholism is higher. And I'm a Valaisan now, official Valaisan citizen. So
good for you. I've just sent off my application.
Have you?
Yeah.
Look, you have to do the full test. You have to do the French test now. Don't you?
I'm married to a Swissette. So we shall see. But I think I definitely have to. I definitely have to have a policeman come to my house and interview me, which is fine because I'll probably know him. He will have arrested me for speeding or something like that.
I think you have to do the full test now.
That's fine. I went and sat the full brevet for that. It can't be harder than that. It can't be.
How many seats are there in the Valaisan Assembly?
Oh God. No. This is the thing that I will.
That's what you need to learn.
As a rebel, I will go and learn this at the last moment.
Yeah. Actually, I've got the book. You can.
Oh, cool.
You're in the Valley, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can take my book, and it's got everything you need.
I'm going to borrow that. Read.
Yeah. Because you got me through it. I think my kids got me through it. Mm-hmm. They were asking me questions, and I was like, "Oh, I panic," and the kids were like, "It's all right,
You'll be all right."
But yeah.
So, COVID present. Here we are. We're. You, like me, probably have spent your summer plotting for the winter. I imagine you're like a sort of evil Dr. No or something. Plotting for winter.
I've been trying to.
Oh, yeah. And
you haven't seen the white cat hasn't walked through.
No, not yet. Not yet. And I'm like a monorail.
Yeah.
To
2 rear legs, which are wheels.
But here we are. So here's the anecdote that we'll do this. I was supposed to be going at the end of September to play golf in Portugal with my friends for a long weekend. I was very much looking forward to it.
Yeah.
They cancelled that because Portugal then went on the UK, you're not allowed to travel unless you come back and quarantine.
Yeah.
So that got cancelled. They said, we'll play golf in the UK, so Dave, can you come here? I was like, yeah, okay, I'll move my flights around, not a big deal. After the hour and a half on the phone to EasyJet, managed to move all that. And now, or this weekend...
Does EasyJet even have a phone number?
It does, yeah. Secret one. the UK is about to play Switzerland on its COVID fluid bad guys list.
I'm going to have to dash back tomorrow actually.
And then Switzerland is going to do the same to probably the UK just out of spite because that's what you do. And this is the thing now. That's just killed 2 trips. Mm-hmm. So that tourism that I was going to bring to Portugal, none of us are doing that. That tourism I was about to bring to the UK, none of us are doing that.
Yeah. And if Switzerland reciprocate, then there'll be, if this carries on into the winter, then
that's it, right?
That's it.
No one's going to travel.
Posh screen wash. The end of Putney Bridge. Come and join me. I'll sort you out. Give you a bottle. I'll give you a junction.
I'm going to go and plant carrots in the ballet. That's what I'm going to do. My big fallback is I'm going to take my brevet and I'm going to knock at your door and say, "Hey, do you need a ski instructor?" But that's not going to work. You've got no business.
No, probably like each part of London is like owned by like the Kosovans have Knightsbridge and the Albanians have Putney. We're going to have to carve out a couple of traffic lights for ourselves.
So this is causing. While this is going on, it's going to cause untold uncertainty for people who are potentially booking their ski holiday to Verbier, Zermatt, wherever.
Yeah.
What
my thinking is
what are we doing?
My thinking is that it's going to be fine. You can come skiing. You can socially isolate. If you have an instructor who knows what he's doing, who's following a plan, he will only take you on certain lifts which are socially isolated. Mm-hmm. Your kids will be free to go skiing, which is wonderful. The speed, the freedom, especially if they've been locked inside for months and months. So you absolutely cannot go skiing without a ski instructor. That's the most important thing, because you might take the wrong piste and then you might end up in a crowd and you're finished.
Yeah.
No, but you should. People can come skiing. The lifts will be, the queues might be longer, but they'll be spread out. If it's bad, they can manage it. I see 3 scenarios. One where we see a repeat of what happened in Australia this season or in Victoria, where the season opened, lots of people went skiing. I was in Cornwall last week, 2 weeks ago, and it was absolutely rammed with tourists. Polzeth, I think I pronounced that properly now, beach there were maybe 1,000 people surfing and boogie boarding in the water. I mean, it was just, maybe it's normally like that, but it was just...
No, one of my instructors works on the beach and he says it's packed. He's never been such a busy.
Oh really? Is that what he says? Yeah, because I went there and I was just like, this is
crazy. He says it's crazy. Yeah.
And that one scenario is the season starts and it closes. I don't think that's going to happen, and I don't think they can let that happen again, because the initial panic is over. And if you remember when they closed last time, Italy was getting worse and worse and worse, to the point where people were saying that in northern Italy the food chain might break down, the industrial... And I think people have realised now they've got it in a sense of perspective. I don't think that's going to happen. Second scenario is where the season happens and there's a bit of social distancing. I think that's a possibility. People understand it now. The third season is where the second wave is now. The second wave is a small wave and it's controlled. And I think this is what I hope happens. Now, the worst case scenario is where the cold weather causes the virus to spread more easily, and the second wave is much bigger going into the winter. But I really don't know which way it's going to go. And I'm talking to some people the other night. I think what will happen is the season will be fine. It will be more last minute. So there's a little more risk for our instructors.
Yeah, for sure.
How many do we bring out? How many do we hire locally? There's not much risk in that for us, but there's huge risk for the whole community? How many people do we need? But I think when people do come, they haven't had a proper summer holiday. So, come for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or come for the season. I mean, if you're working from home already in London,
get yourself on holiday, right? What difference does it make?
I mean, what do you need to be there for? If you're already, working from home on Zoom or whatever, why not come out for the winter?
Yeah. Yeah, a month or two, right?
Well, the whole winter, rent a place, come for the season. I mean,
that is
you
one
can
thing.
actually work and do that, and people do that here already. You come and work, and
do you know that's one of the things that really has changed, and I hope changes for the
Come
permanent.
and live in Verbier. That's what I'd say, or anywhere.
I was saying this to my wife because when we moved to Valais, to Champery, one of her main concerns is she was a long way from Geneva, which is where a lot of her sort of contacts and work is. And she was, that was one of her concerns. I said, well, frankly, it's not an issue anymore. It's not an issue at all, because the people who own commercial property, their loss is everyone else's gain. Everyone's realised they don't need to work in an office anymore. I can't see that coming back anytime soon. As companies realise the sheer scale of the cost saving that they can make. You think of all that commercial. I heard from a guy at Nestle who said they've scaled down the new building that they're building in Barcelona by 2/3.
Wow.
On the basis of this, because they just don't need it. They don't need the space.
I let my office go in April, moved out in May, closed it.
Yeah.
And we've got the admin ladies working from home and the sales team working from home, and you can see I've got a computer on the dining table and working from home. I think you're absolutely right. People used to do that anyway, but I think a load more people have been shown that they don't need to be. They don't need to be in London.
More like corporate bods, like the guys that work in big corporations. I think they've realised that they can just be just as efficient and get an extra 2 hours in their day because they don't have to commute into London anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
So that's So the season to you is kind of going to pan out in 3 ways. I personally think it's going to be fine, and I tell you why.
I feel pretty positive.
I am pretty positive. Except
we need people. We need people like ski news websites and people like that to not clickbait the fear unnecessarily.
I saw that yesterday. The guy on Skipedia did it. No, not Skipedia. I'm wrong. What's the other one?
Planet Ski?
Might have been that one. There was a guy who did a really clickbaity one yesterday. I just
read
this is just rubbish. You can't do that. You because people are already worried enough about their ski holiday. You can't just do that. The sort of clickbaity headline was really disappointing. It wasn't Skipedia. I'm sorry, Ian, that wasn't you. It was someone else.
When I was in Cornwall, I was in the post office, and there was this TV in the corner, and the piece, daytime TV, they were talking about, is it safe to go abroad?
Yeah.
And to people in the UK, the idea that you think the risk is abroad, the risk of dying is so much higher in the UK. If you want to escape COVID, bring your granny over here.
Yeah.
I mean, don't come here. Don't. The idea that somehow going abroad is going to be more dangerous.
Yeah.
The danger is at home. Come out to escape it.
No, my view on the ski season is that there won't be, or Switzerland in general, for sure. I'm not sure about the other governments of Europe because they're a little bit more central than Switzerland is. But I think that there cannot be a second lockdown because you will trash and send bankrupt so many businesses, and they know that. And governments need the tax revenue. So you can't do it the same way that you did it last time.
Yeah.
Because it will kill the ski. They've already lost an entire summer's tourism industry.
Yeah. I mean,
like if you think of all the tour guides that who normally are just showing Chinese tourists around, and you see that a lot in a place like Zermatt, Montreux, on the Riviera. These people are packed all summer showing people around from groups from China, Japan, wherever.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. That's been lost. That's gone for this summer.
Yeah.
But they can't trash another winter. They can't. They can't afford to, because 50% of all of the restaurants and bars will close forever. Gone. There'll be ski schools go to the wall. There'll be people going personally bankrupt.
I mean, in that scenario, I think you know, I mean, however bad it gets, maybe this Danny's legacy, you know, it's not as bad as it is for, you know, I mean, maybe that's like the last little bit of leadership, that people can deal with their problems. If your business is going down, if your wife has left you, if the woman you love doesn't love you anymore, and your ski instructors are unemployed, and there hasn't been any snow or whatever, just deal with your problems, you know.
Yeah.
We're in this decade where you have to, you know, blame the government for everything and talk about your feelings. Well, it's time to, you know, it's time to like toughen up, pedal.
Yes, you say that, but at the same time,
it could be worse.
It could be worse. But what you do need, if you make a hash of your own business because of your incompetence, that is your problem.
Yeah.
If your business is being trashed by the authorities without really any justification, that or what now we know to be little justification. Because we know that there's certain, you know, people are at risk, certain people are not at risk, right?
Yeah.
But that's a different thing. I.e., what I'm trying to say to you is that if you trash your business, like, let's say we're playing a game of football and your team loses heavily because you're a rubbish coach, that's fine. But if the actual pitch that we're playing is being messed with, or the rules are changing as we're playing, that's a completely different thing.
I mean, I hope it doesn't go really badly, and I hope in his time that we are still all here and we have our businesses, and I think we will. I think it'll be okay. I'm pretty positive.
The numbers bear that out now.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be fine, and I think people, as long as people don't like scare people, and if they're in the UK, then be positive. Go skiing. I mean,
go outside, right?
Go outside. I mean, think of these poor kids locked in all winter.
Yeah,
they need to go skiing. They need to have fun. Skiing in the ski industry is not going to be a priority for the UK government. They're not going to be like, let's risk another 20,000 deaths because of a few Brits who live abroad. I mean, this goes quite well into the next point about the French and the BASI and the stuff and the whole like civil service incompetence. But I mean,
don't get me started on that. Let's all right, so a final word then from you. So you're expecting a slightly lighter winter.
Yeah, I'm going to reduce the size of our ski schools across all resorts. Or the two that we operate ourselves, and then we have some franchises and some partnerships. So
I've done that. I'm 2 lighter this year.
Yeah.
2 guys lighter.
I'm going to reduce the size. In the credit crisis, when that hit us 10 years ago, I reduced a bit.
Was it the right thing to do?
Yeah, I thought perhaps, that'll do, but it wasn't enough. I should have cut harder.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because the next year I was like, well, you know, I mean, we went from having, you know, there were people like Cantor Fitzgerald who had 5 chalets here, and each weekend they filled them with their own staff, customers. They were spraying champagne at each other. I mean, it was just loads of companies like that doing loads of entertainment. And then all these like bribery rules came in, and all of that, and the credit crisis, and all that just died overnight. And so the instructors went from having every weekend, you know, being showered in champagne and taking people on corporate groups.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, that stopped. Okay, so what's happening now? And then the gap courses, at the same time as the credit crisis, the tuition fees came in.
Yeah.
So we went from having 7 groups of gaps with peak leaders to 1. And so my senior guys, who divided amongst themselves, I gave them, all of them, like, each group got a couple of 100 hours of training. There were 7 groups, you know, so there were thousands of hours of gap training. All that went. And so I really should have cut harder then. So I'm gonna let the team reduce in size. I may not have to. Don't think we'll have to lay anyone off, but we're going to let it reduce down. And
I'm taking the same view. It's easier to recruit rather than have a whole bunch of guys here, you know, doing nothing. And I think it's important that us as directors is that we say to our staff as we're coming into the season, look, we have no idea what it's going to look like this year. So definitely. You know, I've already got my diary. It's already filling up nicely, actually, reasonably nicely. But I've said, like, you know, there is a certain number of hours here, but I can't promise you it's going to be a bonanza season because no one knows. No one knows.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah. I think personally, my gut feeling is people are itching to ski. Those who want to ski are itching to ski because they feel like they've got some unfinished business from last year. But and in addition, it's outdoors, right? You're outdoors in the fresh air. I think what we will see is less
I think
British tourists and less Dutch tourists for holiday skiers. Is what
I think also for like the other ski schools in all the resorts, we need to all work. It's going to be really tough. Some people might not make it through the winter, so look after each other and help each other. We're all competing normally, but people should, if they can, help each other out a little bit and work together, because we're all in this thing. We're all facing the same problem. I mean, everyone's probably competing to think, well, who can? Some people have produced some very nice COVID strategies or whatever, but that's all good. And that's competitive and that's great. But people should, cooperate, collaborate as much as they can, because there'll be some chalet businesses which I think might not make it. Who knows? So be kind to each other.
Everyone.
But it's going to be tough. So I mean, deal with deal with your problems.
Enjoy chatting to Julian, and I think that comes through in this video. He's a funny guy, and I really enjoy spending time with him. And there was some very, very kind words in there, about Danny, and it's a real loss to our community as well. With the second half, we then carry on and we talk a little bit more about the changes, like I said, that are happening with BASI and certainly with specifics to getting yourself declared to work in France if you haven't already done so. And you can reference back to the Simon Butler episode of the podcast for more information about how to do that. We talk a little bit about Switzerland and how the British ski instructors are going to be affected by that. And finally, we talk a little bit more about the book that Julian has written in lockdown. So that's going to be interesting to see when that one comes out. Just a quick hello to Hubert Beaumont and Simon Christie. Thank you for getting in touch. I really, really appreciate the emails that you guys have sent to me. Especially Simon, who was talking to me about skidding, which, yes, I agree with you 100%. So that's really, really cool. So the next episode is already in the can. It's already been recorded. In fact, I've got 2 coming up for you, and that takes us in a Swiss direction and an Austrian direction. So I'm very much looking forward to getting those edited, and I'll get those out later on in September. But for now, enjoy the rest of this interview, and I'll see you on the next one. Let's move on. We are coming. Last time we chatted a lot about BASI history. We did a lot of history.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah.
I did notice on your mantelpiece there. This is going to segue in really nicely. I saw the.
It's not a mantelpiece.
What would you call that? It's a shelf.
It's a ledge.
Ledge. Picture ledge.
It's called a ledge. Yeah, it's
okay.
A picture ledge.
Yeah, you're right. There's no fire below. I saw the ski cocktail thing patch
ahead of its time.
Which links us into our mutual friend Jean-Yves, and talks about this kind of big shift, this sort of seismic shift contained in that little paragraph of the press release that BASI put out. Wasn't even a press release, a webpage, about the fact that they seem to have accepted that there is a declaration process that British members can and could have been doing.
I mean, let's be clear. the reason that anyone who has done the Euro test or has been training for it had to do it is because you were told, and it's, why did you do it? Because it was on the website, it was a box to tick, and as you went through your courses and became part of the industry, everybody else was doing it, and they all told you to do it. Hardly anybody went to the French government and said, what are the rules, how do I do it? Apart from, after he met Jean-Yves, apart from Simon Butler.
Mm-hmm.
And the process has always been there. It's just that in the beginning, when the Euro test was done, when Dave Renouf, who is French, did that deal with the French, it basically sold all of the members short of their full potential. So if people had followed, and people have followed, what it says in the French law, and if their civil servants had treated those applications properly, which they have to, and of course they've tried not to, and Jean-Yves has taken them to court, many, many more members at all levels would be allowed to work in France. That door has always been open. It's held really tightly closed by the French government. But finally, I mean, it's ironic, isn't it? Right at the end of our time in the EU, which gave us these rights, right at the end, the cases have been won. People can start to work there. There's a way for all members to put their dossiers in. It's great that it's finally happened, and even BASI has come on board. BASI is no longer a French subsidiary. The Union of Ski Instructors in France, which trades as a business, essentially it's a corporation taken over by its union, has finally lost control of BASI. That sun has set. And that influence over us and our association enabled them to persuade our members that they had to follow this other procedure which protected them from foreign competition. They did the same with the Spanish, the Czechs, the Dutch, the Danes. They went around, and each time they gave a few senior members, 200 in our case, less for the Czechs, 16 I think, members the right to work in France, in exchange for which each system said to their new up-and-coming members who know nothing because they're brand new each year, this is what you have to do.
They essentially become the gatekeepers.
And we'll train you to do it.
And charge you accordingly.
And no fault of those people. I've no great big conspiracy, and a lot of friends, everyone else in the industry, Eurotest, yeah. Congratulate my guys who do it, encourage them, because they have to. They kind of have to do it to get the level 4. Even though I would always pay people as a level 4 when they were level 3 with everything but the Eurotest, so I never recognised it. Weirdly though, those people who got paid as level 4s then, when they got it, were very much like, well, now everyone else has to do it. But because of course, actually, the political side is always much more important to people than the actual teaching. Teaching skiing side. But so finally we're there, and the group of people that through whom the French use their control have nearly brought BASI to its knees and have gone, luckily. They made
all of them?
Not quite. But they made a grubby attempt recently to come back. I mean, it was replete with all the usual features of their operation manual. A compliant admin lady who's willing to sacrifice her own reputation to try and burn their enemies.
Know what to look for.
There's all the usual, it has all the usual features of that group's way to operate, and luckily for everyone in BASI, the chairman now has managed to get a board together which acts as a board, because the board represents the members, the chief executive reports to the board, the staff report to the chief executive, one of those staff members is the head of the trainers, and the trainers report to him, he reports to the CEO, he reports to the board. Is a structure. And if you're on a course with a trainer, you're there, and there's steps above you. And what happened historically is that got reversed. So it's like the board worked for the CEO. And the more that happened, the more he could sort of say, well, look, let's just brush this under the carpet and I'll let you write a bit of the manual or something. I'll let you do some working group and you can have £200 a day and you can jet off here and there. You know, I mean, I feel sorry for the domestic airlines in the UK now. You know, there must be a few the air miles balance will start to get, start to drop. But I mean, it is good. It is good, and I think the only lesson you get from that is that if you tread on people on your way up, sometimes they'll be waiting for you on your way back down. I mean, it's good. It's good. Finally, we got that. I mean, ironic that on the French side of it, that it's as we leave the EU. I mean, maybe like they're doing with Switzerland, there'll be some sort of free movement. There'll be some sort of free movement thing with the French.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 500,000 of them in London. And what are our requirements? Well, our requirements are what? I mean, we've got 5,000 members, 200 of whom are allowed to work in France. So if all the people put dossiers in, there might be 1,000. So that's great. I mean, we're happy to let your people come and work in London, and we'd just like 1,000 tickets for ski instructors.
Wouldn't you?
Maybe they could wrap all that up in the fishing thing as well. What they need to do, what BASI needs to do now, is get in amongst that. And all that stuff's going to get traded. I mean, we're not just going to isolate ourselves completely from the continent. No. There will be some sort of horse trading. Well, your fish, you get the waters off Guernsey, and well, okay, then we'd like the golf coaches, the ski instructors, and
it would be nice if some of this was sorted fairly soon. It's almost September.
Yeah.
Now, I tell you the reason I say that, and we're going to digress slightly back into, because you mentioned this sort of Swiss free movement. I keep going to the commune. And I say, hey, what do you know about what's going to happen to my all entirely British team of ski instructors after 31st December? And they always say the same thing, is that we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know, because you know that you have to announce, obviously, your instructors on short stay, 90 days.
Quite a lot of them now live here, and
but
Swiss or have permits or whatever.
Yeah, but what happens after that? I suspect that they will continue to use that website and put a British exception in. Because that's supposed to be for European nationals, isn't it?
Yeah.
To come and declare themselves to work short term. I suspect they'll just continue to use that, but have the UK guys in there, and the UK will be allowed a 90-day thing, and that will just carry on, because it's the least amount of paperwork that you would have to do.
Well, last year I read in that the
have you heard anything different?
I mean the called cutely named Mind the Gap agreement between the UK and Switzerland allows for the workers' right to continue after the end of the adaptation period, what's it called? The transition period, which ends at the end of December.
Yeah.
So that will end, but it will continue with Switzerland. Now, when that happened last year, we were up against this December deadline. We spoke to 4 or 5 people at the embassy. They spoke to people in the government, and it reverted to a quota system.
Okay.
And the embassy came back to us and they said, "Oh, look, no, there's this type of L permit, which is 120 days, and anyone can have it up to any point." And so I took that to the canton and to the commune, and they said, "Well, that doesn't exist." And I was like, "No, look, it doesn't. It's on the federal website." And they were like, "Oh no."
Correct.
I mean, there are 2,222 communes, I think, and they don't really know. They'll probably receive something eventually. They don't really know what's going on. The embassy goes to the federal government, and they go, "Oh yes, look, we have this beautiful folder full of visa possibilities for your citizens." And I mean, I suspect it will be okay, but there's not. The intention at a high level is for it to continue as before.
Yeah.
If it goes to a quota system, I don't rate the ski instructor being a priority when it comes. If people want pharma companies and finance and so on, they want to bring people in.
Yeah.
Who will pay more tax, I'd say, and they probably will win. But I think the intention is that it will work both ways and it will carry on as before.
I suspect that will be the case.
Certainly, don't bother. I wouldn't even bother with the commune. Just go to talk to the embassy, and they've been something that they flag up, and because they have good intentions, and also a lot of people have been planning. We've been reducing the number of Brits. Or finding Brits with other passports, Irish passports, European passports, native English speakers from other places with European passports. We have been planning for it, and I have reduced the number of Brits.
Okay.
Because I think we're probably 65 full-time. So it has to be a little bit organised ahead of the event.
Yeah, for sure.
Certainly in Zermatt we have more Brits. Here we have fewer Brits.
My plan is to carry on as normal until someone tells me otherwise.
Yeah.
Which, by that time the ski season will probably be over anyway.
Yeah, but I think definitely take it up. Like, go up as high as you can. And the embassy very friendly. You know, go and see them in Bern. It's not far. They will help you. But I mean, it is the Swiss ultimately that they will do I think they're a lot better at doing these deals. They're maybe getting better, but I think they just ran circles around them initially.
Seems to be.
Yeah.
What? Let's head back over to BASI. Like, if I was a BASI instructor who had spent the last number of years trying to get Eurotest, crashed, injured my knee.
Yeah.
Spent thousands and thousands of pounds on training, paying money to gatekeepers to get gatekeepers. What I mean is, trainers and the like.
Yeah.
To get this qualification that turns out didn't need.
Yeah.
Been sold down the river a little bit, the membership, haven't they?
People did it before you could work in Europe with it. People did the level 4. I mean, it was designed to meet the whole idea of the level 4 being as big as it is and as modular as it is, and the total number of hours that are involved is that it creates a point where there is no substantial difference between your qualification and the French qualification. That's why it is the way it is. Now, that fact was not fully exploited when it came to getting people to apply. They got the agreement to put the Eurotest into it. But I wouldn't feel, it's a great qualification. It proves you're skiing at a really high level. The people that deliver the courses deliver them really well. The assessment is fantastic. The training body is good. And the qualification is respected around the world. And you are a good skier once you've finished it. That doesn't change the way you can work, when, by who, what agreements, whatever that. None of that changes the fact that you have a European level full cert qualification once you've finished it. A global, compared with the places that you might be able to work afterwards, Canada, US, those places, your skiing standard, it's, people always talk about the levels, and if you're a level 3, but you are the lowest level 3, let's say you just scrape the level 3, you are the level. A lot of people are above the level, so they're not the level, they're higher than the level. But if you just scrape to level 4, it's a hot day and it's perfect snow, and you're in Andorra, and trainers are feeling good, you just scraped it, like boom, you're just at the level, doesn't matter where you pass. That level is already a really high level. So people shouldn't feel, there shouldn't be I don't think there should be the people that got injured doing the Eurotest, maybe they have some case, but I don't think so. And I think everyone now should rally round BASI, because BASI, needs you to book courses. It was left by the ancien regime in a difficult position, and the current chairman is doing a great job fixing it.
I'd say more than difficult, wouldn't you say? More than difficult. Like, we're both good friends with Peter, right? Former BASI chairman, and he's told me on numerous occasions that
CEO.
On numerous occasions about the good state in which the finances at BASI were left.
When he left, there
was $500,000 in the bank, no doubt on the place, and that money has, for want of a better word, evaporated in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Under the stewardship of
Andrew Lockerbie.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that. I don't want him coming after me, Lee.
You're not saying anything. It's all covered in those.
But it's true.
In those, I don't really follow it that closely, but I watched the videos that came out.
And you've seen the data that the current finance officer has said.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because the guy is he's a very plausible stand-up guy. He's been in charge for a long time. He was chairman, chief executive, level 4 examiner. Massive presence in the industry, and everyone has their downfall eventually, and that's now happened. But the finances were very gently eroded. You know, you make a little bit of a loss. Okay, well, next year will be better. You try this. It's very easy to try and hire your way out of problems. You know, people. I mean, I don't. You can see a lot of the mistakes they made. You know, someone's not very good at a job. Well, let's split the job and bring someone else in to do the bit you don't like, and you know, let's give everyone their own office instead of renting half the building out. And it's very easy. And I've made a lot of those mistakes in my own business. So I can easily see how it would all the political, like, intra-factional kind of nonsense aside. It's very easy to make all those mistakes, and especially if it's not your own business. If you're a CEO of something that you don't essentially own, you know, the consequences are less harsh if you
no skin in the game.
But yeah, it is. You can see all those mistakes, and I don't think we need to like roast them for that too much. But it is in a precarious situation, and people need to rally around now and support it. You know, if you have a job and you're in the game and you want to do that telemark course or that snowboard course that you haven't done, or the off-piste thing, you know, I might book on an off-piste week this season, just get a refresher. You know, I think people should rally around, because it is the current leadership thinks it should be a lean training and assessment body, more on the assessment side. I think its purpose is not to make a profit, but non-profit things still have to make a little profit and build up a reserve and be financially stable, and that's all it should do. It's not a business. It shouldn't be trying to take over China. No. There's a risk you don't get paid. Yeah. It shouldn't be. I mean, in this thing that happened recently, I heard there was quite a high Chinese sort of participation in that. And we need to watch out. Our foreign influence is obviously essential if you're a British Ski Instructor Association, because your members are going to work abroad. So you need to be talking to other countries and moulding your system a little bit to make your instructors attractive to overseas and foreign employers. But you have to watch that doesn't go too far, and obviously it did with the French, and there's a risk it could have done with China too. But yeah, it shouldn't be like a mega corporation, and it should be managed like a sensible small family business, and it shouldn't be, you know, it doesn't need. I think there's this culture in the UK where, you know, you can't do the washing up without a strategy document. You know, well, okay, we've got 5,000 members. They all pay £100 a year in membership, and some of them do courses, and you know, it just needs to be sensibly managed.
It's funny you should say that, because I've just come up. Well, it's two things. So one, I did my bit. I did the online video analysis CPD. Very good course, well delivered. Really enjoyed it. And actually, I did a lovely. I think it must have been the start of last year. I did a lovely CPD with a lovely CPD with Jazz at the start in November in Diablo. It was really good. So I've chipped in certainly towards, you know, the pot this year. But I've just come off of one of the BASI working groups. On Tuesday we delivered. So internally, BASI is doing a sort of like a management consultant thing, like what's wrong internally and what can we do. So they've taken these sort of a number of working groups for different areas, and I was specifically engaged with member engagement and communications.
Oh, okay.
Mainly, I guess, because of my work on this podcast. And then we came up with some similar things, and one of them was that under the last regime, BASI had become incredibly corporate in the way that it communicated with the membership. You know, it's like, and I put it in one of my slides. You know, we are not. BASI is not a Fortune 500 company. We don't need to talk to people like this. We're not selling them stuff. We are. There is an organisation just for giving out tickets, ski instructor licenses, and that's what you do. And furthermore, you're not speaking to as many people as you think you're speaking to. Don't be fooled by the license number on your membership thing. Mine is 14,000 and something. There's 5,000 members, and 2,000 of those, more than 2,000 of those, aren't even active. You're going to pull your one and say that you're number 3 or something.
No, I'm not. No.
But,
2000 or something.
I have no idea what mine is.
But I don't even have one.
But and so this, for me, our recommendations. This needs to be a simpler, leaner organisation. And I'd also like to know more about the history of it. You know, I want to know about all these guys that went before me. I don't just want to see this sort of slick corporation, you know, that is trying to sell me stuff.
Well, there is a book written by James Cove, The History of BASI, which, after he finished it, was edited for 3 years by the old regime. He spent 3 years editing it.
Airbrushing history.
Airbrushing history. I think so. Yeah. I think they should republish the original text. Yeah. I know that I was airbrushed out of it, but
I would airbrush.
I would too. Yeah, a troublemaker.
Bound.
Yeah, I do. Well, I don't know about that. I prefer CAD.
No, I'm going to give you a book recommendation later.
But don't read that. Read my book. I've written a book.
Let's leap to that.
No. I mean, let's talk about. I think they should relaunch James Cove's history. You basically paid him to write the book years ago.
Right.
Then it was edited for 3 years. Then it came out. So people are interested in that. I mean, I don't know why they would be, but if they were, and it is interesting, then it's only started in the 60s, so it's not that old. But it is interesting, and
but you never hear anything about that. This is what we were saying. So I'd love to hear from some of these old boys, you know, who started the thing back in the 60s.
Well, a lot of them now are starting to pass away. So
you could get these guys quick before they before that happens, right?
He edited them. I think they're edited out, but I think that he wrote the book and they're all in there. So it should be republished, the original text.
James, wherever you are, we want the original text. I should get
BASI has it. BASI has it, I'm sure. Yeah.
Do you know him? Let's get him. I know him. Let's get him. Let's podcast him.
You should podcast him. Yeah. I mean, he has his own media outlet. He'd be a great one to interview.
Okay.
And during lockdown, I've written a book, How to Be a Ski Instructor, for first-time ski instructors. How to be a good ski instructor. So not for you and I, but for the first...
Well, it makes you think I know how to be a ski instructor. I'm just making it up as I go along most of the time.
Oh, really? You can buy that book.
What made you do this? So you were tapping away here, like...
Well, back in where I used to live, I moved here in June.
Okay.
Well, I just had nothing to do, really, and I was locked in the house.
Yeah.
So I decided to do that. And I've tried to start editing it, which I realise takes about 3 times as long as...
It's funny you should say that, because I've just finished... My dad wrote a book. 151 A4 pages of his life story.
Wow.
In chronological order. And it's actually amazing what he can remember. Because I sat there and I thought to myself, if I had to write a book of my life, there's a whole section like in my 20s and 30s that I'd lost purely because it's all been drowned in alcohol.
Something to do with Red Bull and vodka and pint glasses. Yeah.
But it's extraordinary in this book. I mean, it's a real like throwback to another time. Yeah. But what I was going to say was that I have spent 2 summers editing it, and I'm still finding stuff in it that I have, you know, I finally kind of had enough. And I said, right, I'm going to go and print this now. So I've actually got 2 or 3 copies coming in the post any day now.
Wow.
It's his birthday today, actually. Hi, Dad.
Oh, cool. That's nice.
So I've actually had it made into a real book. But there's companies that do that now. And
print on demand, or put it on Kindle.
That's right. So I mean, I don't think anyone's going to buy it necessarily because it's quite unique.
When you go on, if you put a book on Kindle, where you'll be able to buy my book, there are 2 options. People can pay for it, so a few dollars, and you get a percentage of that. Or you can even get it free of charge for people who subscribe. As a subscription,
on the Prime.
They get so many books free of charge, and the authors of those books get a percentage of the page turns of that person. So somebody who reads a lot buys a subscription to get access to all the free books, and then every time they click on a page, say they pay $100 a month or whatever, $100 a year, and they read 100 pages, the authors get a percentage of the per page percentage of the subscription as a page turn thing.
Okay.
So there are people whose books are free, but who are earning. Some of them earn like over $100,000 a year.
Okay.
Just from, and they then try and get to these mad reader niches of people who buy the subscription.
Yeah.
You know, weird like romance niches and stuff. You know, but there are like, I mean, you've been on there. There's just books about.
Yeah.
So I just intend to put my book is just for people. You know, imagine like, I don't know, a guy or a girl going to be a ski instructor. And their aunt is like, oh, that's exciting. They go on Kindle and they're like, well, I'll buy them that book. So it's aimed right at the very first step.
What's it called?
How to be a good ski instructor. I shouldn't give that away so soon because people will like register it. And
It's fiction.
it'll be on there. Yeah, it has to be a fiction. Yeah, it's actually very interesting writing it because it makes you think a lot about the stuff and what's important.
Is it technical or is it like a more of a guide of how to be?
You know, there's such a small amount of the book which is technical.
Okay.
And I thought I'm not going to try and like discipline neutralise it. Like I'm not going to say ski, snowboard, telemarket, or every time I just use the word ski. And I'm not going to try and make it applicable to everybody. So there is a section about how to take a group of clients for lunch in Verbier or Zermatt. So now that won't be applicable to someone who works at Milton Keynes. But some of it will.
Oh, maybe they'll have a restaurant there.
They'll invite you for lunch, and there's a lot of it that isn't applicable to everybody, but it will be useful if you end up in an alpine resort looking after people. Most of it is customer service.
Yeah.
Most of it is safety, customer service, psychology. But once you started with a big mind map and then just got writing. But a lot of it is just caring for people and giving them a good time. And I was going to call it. I've got some other ideas for a title, but you know, when you have that connection with the client and they're really enjoying their lesson, they're whooping along, and you know they're just happy and they're improving, and you're making them brave, and their confidence is growing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fantastic. As the instructor, very satisfying, you know. So it doesn't happen, does it, in every lesson?
No.
But
maybe not in yours.
It doesn't happen every lesson, but some people. And the big thing I think is that the ski instructor, the new instructor, will go on a basic course or something like that, and there it is mostly technical and understanding the nuts and bolts.
You're right. No one does talk about the bulk of the job, which is non-technical.
Yeah, non-technical. What do you talk about? What do you not talk about? You know, how do you find out what your clients want? What do they really want? Do they want to? Most people here don't want mad technical lessons. But they do want some in there. So you've got to be able to deliver that because that's what your job is. But if you go right at that, then people don't want that. They want a ski lesson, but they also want to be guided or looked after or have someone to follow. And you've got to be. It's basically a long essay trying to persuade people to be open to what the clients want. And
it's funny actually.
to listen.
Yeah, one of the very, very first podcasts I did was a good friend of mine called Ali McGrain. You probably might know him. He worked here for New Gen for a bit, and we talked a lot about the being the simplicity of a ski lesson. So if you jam someone with loads of technical information, it doesn't end up generally being a good lesson.
No.
But if you can focus down on one thing that really makes a difference to that person, it might not be all of the things, but for that day, that one thing. That is the technical side that really makes a difference. The rest of it, the other stuff, psychology, being a good host, the kind of the knowledgeable about the mountain and things like that. My old boss Ernest said this to me, one time. He says, it's important that you know the names. It's nothing to do with skiing. It's important you know the names of all of those mountains there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because your client's going to ask you. And if he doesn't ask you, you can tell him anyway.
Yeah.
But even though you need to know the name of all of these, you know, what's that over there? What's the
absolutely.
Dumont or whatever.
Yeah.
And
you need to know where the best coffee is and where they're not. If you can let them into those little secrets on the mountains, and you take them somewhere, and at 10:30 in the morning at this place, that Portuguese chef makes this apple pie, and it's delicious, and hot chocolate's good at that one, but at the other one they use fresh milk, and
Little things.
Like
local knowledge.
Yeah, the mushroom dish at the terrace in the middle of Val Thorens, the mountain mushroom dish. And I went there and I was sitting there with my clients, and this ESF guy next to me, I heard him lean over and whisper to his clients, I know the chef and he has this amazing mushroom dish and it's not on the menu. I was like, I will use that. I mean, cheeky sod, I looked at the menu, it's bloody there on the menu. But he had the whole magic going,
Yeah,
but you've got to know that stuff. You've got to know all those things. I mean, there's a guy in Zermatt, a ski instructor. I don't know who it is, but he's set up his own Instagram account where he takes a picture of his lunch every day. I mean, there's
ski instructor lunch.
Yeah, I mean, there are sometimes, the whole thing around lunching is interesting because, who pays? Well, of course, the client pays if they take you for lunch. But it's not necessarily discussed beforehand, so you have to offer to pay and be willing to pay. And sometimes you might have to pay. Most of the time you don't. What do you order?
It's like a game of poker.
They order first, and if they order a salad, you order a salad. I had a client. There's a restaurant here, Carrefour, and they do this Pierre Chaud's steak thing. I've had it like a handful of times, and the last time I had it with clients, they were like, Julian, we've ordered the steak. You've got to have it too. And I was like, no, I'll just have the rosti. Rosti creble is the famous one. And they were like, no, we insist. And I was like, no, I do. Because it's this real thing, like, there's one instructor in Verbier, it doesn't work for me, who they had a sort of unofficial record going. In the season, he ate that dish 75 times.
Oh, come on. No.
Yeah. Which is some kind of record. But of course, you've got to have clients who are having that dish. You can't, once we had an instructor who had there were two instructors, one all day, one half day. And at the end, they all finished at the restaurant, and the instructor who should have just gone, he was sort of hanging around, and they went, would you like to join us for lunch? And then he was like, oh, yes, please. And I was like, he was from Eastern Europe. There, sometimes it's quite tricky, and be so careful, I say. No, and he was like, yeah, please. And then, so he ordered this steak thing. And it comes with like this big paper bibby kind of thing, And the other instructor, he's there with this whole theatrical performance, and everyone else has finished their little salads, whatever. And the other instructor took a photo of him with the whole bibby eating the steak. The clients are like up, ready to go, and he's still like off into this great like Côte de Boeuf sort of thing they create, Pierre Chaud, and we actually fired him for that.
Yeah,
it was outrageous. And the photo, it's a good training tool. But the whole lunching thing. Like, okay, the kids will finish their meals quickly.
Yes.
And what do they do? They're bored. They're running around outside the restaurant.
Exactly.
What do? You get up and take them for a ski.
Yeah, you got to go.
Oh, what do you mean? Well, I'm not teaching the kids. Well, get up, go skiing, take them for a run. Let the mums and dads enjoy another bottle of wine. Let them do that. Don't drink. Well, maybe you can have a glass. But what happens if you have 3 glasses? Or what happens if you're pissed? What if you're pissed and then you go down the wrong run? Or even if it's the right run, but the client has an accident, you'll have each ski school will have a different policy. We have a glass of wine. I think that's defendable. If you've had like 6 glasses of wine and you go, you get this sort of, you get excited, you're like, you could do this run, yes, do it together, I'll get you down. And then, oh my God, 6 months later, she's still in hospital. And,
it doesn't take much. So.
No, I mean, there's all sorts of things that they've got to take responsibility for. And it's like a cosy moment with people you like in a restaurant. Have another glass. Oh, yeah, okay. And then you end up in trouble. So,
I've always got my get out of jail free card for that one, because I've been sober for 5 years now.
Have you? Wow.
I just don't drink.
Good effort. I'm thinking of doing the same thing. Increasingly, when I go out, I don't drink too much.
I've just had enough of it.
Yeah.
Frankly. But I know more and more people who don't. It's really odd. I think it comes with age.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. But it's it's interesting. Changed my life around a lot.
Has it really?
Yeah. A lot of good things came out of that.
Yeah.
Richer too. Don't spend all your money on alcohol.
Yeah.
And all the lost hours. The biggest one I was thinking that really got me is that I used to go. I don't even go to pubs anymore. But when I used to, but be sober, you suddenly work out who were drunk friends.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And who are like real people that you know. And it was really interesting to find. And some of the resentment from people that sort of resent that you stopped. You know, that was a really strange thing
interesting.
too. Yeah, really strange. Really strange. So, a book. Can't believe it. I feel like I've wasted my lockdown time now.
Honestly, it's only going to be like a small book. Like, I don't want to make it too challenging to
novella.
Read. A novella. I don't want to. I know most ski instructors, and I don't want to make it too challenging.
Yeah.
So it's only a small, only like 40,000 words, so barely like 100
really
tiny
good.
pages if you make it postcard size, I think. So
that's amazing. Well, it's good because you can pop that in if you're a sort of budding ski instructor, you pop it in your pocket.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, it's there for you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Is there anything we haven't covered that you'd like to talk about? Because otherwise, I think I've got to go and deliver a boot full of motorbike parts to Villa.
Ah, right. Well, yeah. I just think like in the coming season, it's going to be tough for ski instructors everywhere because there's a lot of uncertainty. I, like you, think that it's going to be okay. I think the bookings will come in last minute. I think the low season will be quieter. I think people need to plan for that and be ready for it. I think a lot of travel businesses will go under. And I think that people need to be ready for change. And that means that what you're used to will be different. And that's, for everybody, from new instructors, old instructors, clients will, for example, our ski instructors used to just go off and meet people at the chalets. Well, maybe now you have to go to a certain point and do a temperature test each day. We're going to change around our products a little bit. We're going to make some stuff which we think people will like. Things will change. And I think it's changing for everybody. So, the people who rent out staff accommodation, it's changing for them too. You can drive a harder bargain there.
Yeah.
People should rally behind BASI if they can, if they're in that association, and they should also learn languages. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, we get so many applications from ski instructors. 80% of them are male, English, speak one language. I'm just like, that was like me when I was 18. So I look at them and I feel like, I should, read the application. But I'm like, it doesn't take that long to learn another language. And don't learn French, because everyone speaks French. And the French have their own instructors, a native speaker. You've got no chance. Learn Arabic, learn Russian, learn something that will be useful, even Portuguese, because there are loads of Brazilians. And those clients from further afield, China, Japan, Brazil especially, Russia, they come in low season weeks. Russia New Year week is the first low season week. And be open to, those clients when after this is all over, and we've seen this trend away to more long distance travellers from different places, people have different cultural expectations. We had one client last year who landed in his helicopter. I had an instructor waiting at the top for him. He'd flown in from Russia that morning, and his wife got out of the helicopter, and the snowboard, put a snowboard on the ground. I mean, they literally come straight from home, east of Moscow, and the snowboard slid away. The instructor couldn't catch it, and it slid like 400 metres down towards Verbier. So the husband went down to get it. This is not what you dream of, is it? When you book your jet.
This is not advice you'll find in the book. It's how to deal with this.
Your jet and your helicopter. And he's down there struggling across the off-piste, and I get down there and he's we get the snowboard and we're on the way back up the T-bar. First I said, we'll take it round for your wife, and he's like, no, she come and take a look. And I was like, well, it's very difficult. It's chopped up, sunburnt, off-piste, all sastrugi, And I was like, well, she might find it difficult. It might take her a long time. I called up the instructor. I said, well, you wait. And I said, look, let's go and let's take the T-bar up. Let's go and give her the snowboard. And he was like, okay. So we're on the T-bar, and it's a female instructor. And he said to me, you've given me this instructor, a girl, and this is good for my for my young female child. But for my son, he will not listen to women. You must give me another one. So I was like, well, I can't. This girl's got a week of work. And I was like, well, I can't do that. But I could give you another instructor. And he's like, yeah, fine, no problem. You know. And that vein of like behaviour and cultural difference was really difficult for the instructor to cope with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people need to diversify, and especially those guys. I mean, I envy a little bit the guys in France who are like independent, or they're there with a buddy and they go to ski school, because like they get one booking and their season's the same as last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not like, oh yeah, well that wasn't that, like a credit crisis. They're like, oh yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
You know, because there's just them and their hours.
Yes.
And they're teaching British intermediate, middle class people who speak their own language.
Yeah.
If you're over here, you've got to deal with Russians and Arabs and all sorts of people. You know, London-based couples of different nationalities. And it's not only the language, it's the culture. So for this young British female instructor, it was a challenge. She had to find herself standing up to this Russian guy. As soon as she did, he backed down, following her everywhere like a little pet. I mean, but before that, it was like, take us here, take us there, a real boss. You know, those different cultural expectations are hard to deal with. Good fun challenge for people. But you know, I mean, on top of the COVID, there's obviously the Brexit. You know, we've got the practical problems of COVID, and we might do temperature testing every day, COVID testing every week, or even every day. I'm even looking at a machine for COVID testing. You know, there'll be practical changes like that, but there'll also be these different challenges with getting people from different places, and so I think just people need to be ready for change. And British instructors, who I know are most of the listeners, need to be ready for different things. You know, like just teaching that narrow socioeconomic group in a medium-sized French resort that's very, very comfortable. Teaching them skiing on a 2-hour lesson because you're trying to maximise your yield.
Yeah.
You know, the world is changing. You know, you've got to get ready to be working in different places, teaching different people who have different cultural outlook to you. You know, you might be young Brett, like this girl, you know, makes assumptions about people and equality and all those things, and then there you are teaching someone who you can't shake the hands of the female members of the group, or you know, so the world is changing, and you have to, I think, be ready to change with it. And all of that stuff came out when I was writing the book. I was like, okay, well, I better put this in because they need to. You know, we had a group of clients from the Middle East and shook the hand of the dad, and if I went to shake the hand like you would with a Western, shake the hand of, oh, you're not allowed. Oh, they're like adult children, like 20-year-old daughters, and that. You just automatically went to shake the group's hand. Oh, you're not allowed to because they're unmarried. So you have to be ready for that stuff. You have to be, you know, especially, and now I think in the top resorts, which is seeing a concentration of runaway wealth. People who are very international by nature, and have a, you know, I mean, I think people who work in Courchevel would agree that in the beginning, maybe 20 years ago, some of those countries were quite, uncouth when they went to eat out. But now, very civilised, very, you know, I remember teaching Brazilians when I was in my early 20s in Courchevel, and I was just shocked how rude they were. But now I think, you know, people are more educated, more international, and the instructors hopefully can cope with that stuff. But I mean, that's not my main message. My main message is like we're in a shitstorm, and people need to be ready for change. You know.
Adapt or die.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. No, pleasure.
I really appreciate it. Only guest so far for a part 2.
I'm very honoured to be the first one
for
a part 2. I hope if anyone has made it this far, then I'm very honoured to have so much of their attention.
Good. Thank you.